Yo, that sounded great. I'm Mike. This is Dan. We're at Marshall Music. We're talking about DR strings. And Dan, I know you love your DR TITE-FITs, yeah?
Love them, man. Best strings I've played. Just for instance, I've been off tour now for 2 months, right? And this set of strings was from my last show of the tour, which was the end of November, and we are now in January.
Yeah.
And they still sound absolutely fantastic, man. So I love them. They last. They feel great. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Exactly. Well, what you could ask for is a custom gauge. That's,
Yes.
that's what you did
That's
ask
what
for.
I did ask for, yeah.
I mean, you used some interesting gauges there. You got a 12, a 15, an 18, and 28, 38, and 54. That's like 3 different sets of strings
Yeah.
mashed
So
together.
it's kind of like a 11s in the middle 4, and then 12s on the 2 high E's, but I tuned down a semitone. So, you know, it
gives you the tension.
yeah, it just releases a little bit of the tension, and it just, yeah, it's a gauge I've played for so long that you know, without this, you know, relationship with DR, you know, I have to buy 3-4 sets of strings, different packs to make up one pack, and then I've got 4 different brands on the guitar.
Pain.
Yeah, which is expensive. It's a pain in the butt. And you've got 4 brands or 3 brands of strings on the guitar at one time. And the difference, because I did that for years, the difference of having one brand of strings on the guitar, which is the DRs, it's unreal how balanced it sounds and how comfortable it feels under the fingers.
Yeah, the balancing is a large part of it because it's actually, these have a round core instead of a hex core like a lot of strings. So what that means is when the windings go around the core, it's extremely symmetrical. So that actually contributes to the balance of the string and the way it sounds tonally.
Right.
So hex core would cause the windings to be a little bit off on each winding, and that just causes a little bit of instability. So the whole round core thing actually just makes for a balanced string and a very smooth feeling string. Nickel plated, of course, they sound great. And as you say, string life. I mean, you've done a lot of touring with these, right?
I have, and you know, like, you know, in the past I was having to change strings every show, just because I, you know, if you sweat, if you're in a like kind of a hot, humid nightclub and you sweat a lot, obviously your strings take a beating, so they kind of sound like flat wounds after a show, you know, like
yes, I know that feeling.
Yeah. So with these, I find even if I'm playing those hot, sweaty, humid clubs, I can get at least 3-4 shows out of a set, and that's in the most extreme environment. But like now, you know, where we live up country here, it's dry, and I mean, as I say, it's not that I haven't played. I haven't played gigs, but because I've been off for the festive season, but I've been playing a lot, and the strings you can even hear acoustically, and you know, they've still got plenty life left in them.
So that bounce and that sort of treble spank, because you know when a string goes dead, it's just thunk, as you said.
Big time.
So, you know, part of keeping them going is also that they do compression windings. So there's compression involved in doing the windings, which means the windings are tighter, and they can be tighter and smoother because of the round core. So it's all those things that combine to keep dirt out of getting in there, to keep sweat from getting in there, and contributing to that smooth and sort of balanced feel. And I got to say, being somebody who's not been big into coated strings, I've always liked the nickel wound kind of strings. I've tried most of them, and these feel probably about the smoothest of any of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. They got a fantastic silkiness, you know, especially on the wound strings compared to other brands for me. And it kind of makes sense. I never knew that they compressed the windings and all that sort of stuff.
You got to go read up on them a bit.
Yeah, but it makes sense now why I'm getting so much more, you know, kind of life and mileage out of a set of strings, you know. It's incredible, and really, that's one of the most noticeable differences, right? And you know, I would never pick a string because it lasts longer, because you know, you can go to coated strings and all that. And I've never been a fan of coated strings, but you know, tonally, they just deliver everything that you could want out of a set of strings. They really
Absolutely, they do. And if you guys would like to sound exactly like Dan, play as good as him, and be as handsome as him, you need to try out some DR TITE-FITs at Marshall Music. Go to marshallmusic.co.za or go to your nearest Marshall Music store if you live in Gauteng, or go online. Cheers.